just after midnight, on a late fall evening. Police Sergeant Toby Malorno is responding to a report of a strange light in the night sky. Suddenly, his car mysteriously shuts down. What happened next would change his life forever. Our spacecraft from another world secretly visiting the Earth. Thousands being kidnapped by an alien species and subjected to horrifying experiments. Outrageous claims? Or could they possibly be true? Good evening, I'm Robert Davi. Tonight we'll search for confirmation, the hard evidence of an extraterrestrial visitation. We'll seek the answer to the question, are aliens among us? Tonight, startling footage of a UFO. But is it for real?
It has to be something incredible.
This UFO was filmed from the space shuttle.
The technology we're looking at is quantum leaps beyond anything we have on the Earth.
These people say they've been abducted by aliens.
They were tall, they were very thin, huge eyes.
And that horrible things were done to their bodies.
A probe was put up my right nostril.
I was terrified.
When did the UFO phenomenon begin?
Roswell, New Mexico is still the mother of all UFO stories.
But is our government telling us the truth?
The Army said it was a flying saucer.
Is there a cover-up of UFOs? This teenager says he's got proof.
I found reports going all the way through the 1990s.
And he's posting this evidence on the internet.
There's something there that the government doesn't want us to see.
Does this man have an alien implant?
I don't want that thing in me if I didn't give them permission to put it in.
Doctors are shocked by what they find. This man's life has been a nightmare of alien abductions.
Why me? For what reason?
Is his story a hint of our dark future? And for the first time on television, the most credible recent UFO sighting, recorded by over a dozen policemen.
This is weird. Oh my God, I hope that's a plane. Oh, please be a plane. Oh, please.
Are UFOs real? Do aliens exist? Tonight, join me as we explore one of the greatest mysteries of our time. UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Are they actually alien spacecraft? Or, as many claim, events of nature and elaborate hoaxes? To discover the truth, we must examine the evidence. In the last 50 years, literally thousands of UFOs have been photographed. And recently, home video cameras have captured many more on video. Many of these UFOs are breathtaking. Others are just bizarre. Two of the more remarkable images include a controversial new video that many called a hoax, and a decades-old photograph that, to this day, no one can disprove. We begin with a look at the most recent hotspot of UFO activity. Mexico.
The nation of Mexico is certainly one of the hottest areas for UFOs in the world today, and the phenomenon of the Mexico City UFOs is really a phenomenon driven by videotape.
No one knows more about this phenomenon than Jaime Maussan, director and host of Third Millennium, a popular TV show in Mexico that deals with the unexplained. Every week, Maussan airs footage shot by his viewers with their own cameras. One type of UFO captured again and again has Maussan convinced that something unearthly is going on.
The first event, it happened on July 11th, 1991. Many people in different cities saw UFOs, and some of them were able to record it.
And this is what they caught on video. Numerous shiny, apparently metallic discs. Some have called these UFOs the planet Venus. But that doesn't explain this phenomenon.
We have these objects making a formation with more than 20, 30, 50, 100, or probably more than 100 UFOs. They get together, they separate, they make a figure here, another figure there. Very difficult to explain. I don't know what they are, but they could be signs in the sky.
But all of these sightings pale in comparison to video footage Masan received anonymously in 1997. A mysterious tape that would place him directly at the center of an explosive UFO controversy.
They were able to record these 21 seconds of this object hovering behind the buildings.
What you're seeing now is that anonymous video. We present it unedited and without any visual enhancement. The object resembles a stereotypical flying saucer. What makes the UFO so striking is its movement, darting behind these high-rises, suggesting that its size is over 50 feet in diameter. But is this footage for real?
I thought it was a hoax. I haven't seen anything so real, so clear, so close. And then I said, no, this is not a hoax. There has to be something incredible.
The obvious question arises, were there any witnesses? Many did come forward after the footage was aired on Masan's program. Even so, Masan claims one is credible.
A little girl, her name is Cassandra. She didn't see the video, and she described exactly the same thing.
It was a huge object going around and around. I never seen anything like this before. It was gray and metallic. I felt very tense.
Yesterday we presented a video on television. Did you see it?
No.
There is a group of more than 100 people who don't want to come into camera in front of the public, but they say, we saw it. If this is a hoax, it's a masterpiece.
It is potentially very strong evidence of something very curious. And one has to ask, could this possibly be real?
We asked that very question to renowned skeptic Philip Klass, the author of numerous articles and books on the UFO controversy, and an aggressive debunker of any purported evidence of aliens among us. Klass is not afraid to confront anyone on the subject, even Jaime Maussan.
In 32 years, I have never encountered a single case that could not be explained in down-to-earth, prosaic terms.
What does he think of the mysterious discs videotaped all over Mexico?
These are helium-filled mylar balloons, which are sold in Mexico. They are very popular.
And what about the anonymous flying saucer footage?
Almost certainly, beyond any doubt in my mind, this was a hoax.
When I first saw this, I said, wow, maybe there's really something here, but on closer examination, it doesn't make it.
Visual effects artist Dennis Muren has won 8 Academy Awards for his work on such films as Star Wars and Jurassic Park.
I just adjusted the contrast a bit on it to bring the contrast up and brighten the scene up a bit. And it looks like the line underneath the saucer here might be continuing on through the building. I think what we're seeing here is actually a composite. It's 2 separate scenes.
Here, at Industrial Light and Magic, Hollywood's leading special effects company. Creating a shot like this is about as easy as it gets. All you need is the right software.
For example, we have a shot here that we did for a commercial. The original element of the skier looks like this, but the environment that we want to put him into is here. We have the ability to put the two together. So in the context of the UFO footage, we can put him behind the rock the way the UFO goes behind the building. We can zoom the camera to fool the eye into thinking that it was shot at one time. And we can do both at the same time to add up to the impression that it was shot and it's real, when in reality it's not real. Seeing isn't believing.
Who is going to invest $8 $10,000, $20,000 into produce something like this just for a joke.
Actually, it wouldn't cost that much.
When we were doing the Star Wars films, for example, and all the way up through the 1980s, to put, say, a flying saucer like this or a spaceship in front of the background would take, $200,000 or $300,000 worth of equipment and a dozen highly specialized, talented people who spent decades learning how to do their skill. Now, 1 or 2 people on a desktop can do that with a Mac or a PC and turn out something that looks pretty darn good.
We've proven that any new video like this can easily be faked. Ironically, the most convincing evidence of a UFO may be photographs from nearly 50 years ago, a time when computers that could alter or create images were merely a fantasy. These 2 shots, taken in 1951, are the most widely disputed, but never disproven photographic evidence of a UFO.
The photographs, of course, obviously have all kinds of implications. That if these photographs are real, then UFOs must be real.
For a conclusive analysis of these remarkable photos, we obtained the original negatives and brought them to the Brooks Institute of Photography in Santa Barbara, renowned for its definitive study of the Shroud of Turin. By using the most sophisticated computer software available on the original negatives, they were able to literally take these photos apart, piece by piece.
I can come in on it and see if there's any mismatch in the grain pattern, the grain structure, anything that's an obvious tip-off as to this being a fake, and there's some sort of darkroom trickery.
The photos were taken by Paul and Evelyn Trent, a young farming couple from McMinnville, Oregon. Could they have pulled off such a convincing fraud?
The Trents were not the sort of people that you would leap to the conclusion they were hoaxers. They had no interest in UFOs. They weren't imaginative people. They were farm people.
To skeptics like Philip Glass, the Trent photos would be easy to fake and are easy to explain.
The photograph almost certainly shows something like a hubcap suspended from electric wires that connected the house and their garage.
But the experts saw no evidence of this anywhere in the photographs.
There's no sign, no hint of anything suspending the object, a thread, a wire. I just don't see any threads or any wires there.
If it wasn't a hubcap suspended by wires, was it simply a model thrown in the air? Not according to the analysis. In fact, the UFO itself offered the most convincing evidence.
I think if it were an item very close to the camera, it would have a much darker underneath on that one photograph. There'd probably be more evidence of some sort of texture, surface detail, when in fact there is not. So for that reason, I'm convinced that it is a distance away from the camera.
How much of a distance? According to the Brooks Institute, it's likely that this object was thousands of feet from the camera. That calculation would make the UFO hundreds of feet in diameter. Putting the theory of a hoax further in doubt is the fact that the Trents never profited from taking these pictures. Even so, Philip Glass is not convinced.
Why would they do this? To achieve fame? To see if they could fool the experts?
If this was, in fact, what the Trents were after, if they actually did fake these famous photos, then they somehow did a better job 50 years ago than the sophisticated computers of today. As it stands, these 2 famous photographs cannot be debunked by the experts, and they remain unexplained. If you think the most convincing photographic evidence of unidentified flying objects has been documented here on Earth, you may be wrong. Recently, UFOs have been analyzed from a startling new and unexpected perspective.
And liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery.
Space. We're better.